Hear me out. Hear me out. 33% of the season is gone. 24 games, 72 games, 72 games in total this year. And we are the 6th seed. If the playoffs started today, guess who we would play in the first round?
Oh, the Nets?
Take notes.
Take notes.
Big Meech.
We're here.
My man, Alan Houston.
It's different this time.
What's up, guys?
Go!
What's up, guys? Terry and Trey here on a not Friday night Knicks, but a Saturday afternoon. And I think these guys like playing in the afternoon. I saw these radiant smiles on their face, but we got a win. 110-99, playing again against the Portland Trailblazers. And nice game tonight. Really not tonight. See, I'm stuck there. But
I've been saying tonight too, so I feel you.
If you guys like our content and you want to listen to us ramble about the Knicks as we all do, please subscribe to our channel. Give us a like in this video if you like the video. Ask us some questions. Maybe we'll talk about your question in our next video. What did you think about this afternoon's game? I have my own thoughts, but we'll start with you.
So, interesting game, right? So we beat Portland after we lost to them a couple weeks ago, 116-113, I think. What's funny about that loss to Portland is I remember it felt like a win because we scored 31. And I remember that post-game was just, oh my God, quickly so incredible. So I was thinking, I'm like, oh, we're going to beat Portland twice. And then I was like, no, we lost that game. It just felt so good because this whole season has been like this mind-altering thing for Knicks fans where we have to get around the fact that expectations are different. We're a different team. Right. These games are kind of like more normal now. This game last year would have been a cause for celebration. After 22 games last year, it's 24 games so far this season, right? So we're 11 and 13. After 22 games last year, we were 4-18. So the change has been drastic. Tonight, let's do some stats really quickly. 50% from the field, 43% from three. Excellent stuff. We're hitting our shots today. Randle, again, Julius, we'll get into him specifically, but another good game for Julius. Elfrid Payton has a good game, and he's one, and we're going to talk about him. I'm excited to talk about him because he's causing a civil war in Twitter. And it's interesting because I think it speaks to what I spoke about before with regards to Knicks fans and the expectations, because a lot of people are complaining, and I do complain about Elfrid, and there are some things to complain about, but I think Knicks fans also need to take a step back and kind of look at what we're looking at right now. We're complaining about a team. And you know what? Let's just go into it.
Let's go into it. I got to shout out Alex Contreras because he was giving me a little shit about Payton and me, like kind of ragging on him. I don't feel like I ragged on him. I felt like I just said, you know what? I don't think he's the right person for our team right now. And then he has a game like this, right? So let me tell you what I think is really happening. I think that Elfrid Payton is hearing or knows that quickly is about to start. He got like a month. So Elfrid's got a month to really show up and play some good basketball. And he can play good basketball because this is not the first time that we've seen these kind of numbers from him, right? Every 2 months, 6 weeks or so, we see him have a little...
That's accurate.
Game. The thing is, these games have to be consistent. These players have to give us consistent points. Yes, he had a great game today. There's nothing bad that I have to say about him. I want to make a little quick point because I did hear... So in regards to our rebounds, right? Anita Marks on the radio today was saying that when the Knicks have good rebounds, that's when we win. When we don't get our rebounds, that's when we lose. And I don't know what the stat is. I'm sure you can look it up properly to see exactly how many games you win and lose. But having those rebounds is a real plus for us. So today, I think we had like 7 players that all had seven players? I think like 7 players that all had over 7 rebounds. I may be wrong, but I'll try to look and see if I can.
But let me see. I can tell you right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is honestly 5 players over 7 rebounds.
Over 7 rebounds. That's what it was. Sorry, that was the 5 and the 7. So it was 5 players that we had that had over 7 rebounds. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's what Anita Moss was saying earlier. It's the rebounds that are really helping us win these games. Another point for today. This fourth quarter is the fourth quarter that they need to be playing.
To the end.
Mind
did it almost.
Mind you, there was a point in the fourth quarter where we did not score for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And Portland had quite a few opportunities to kind of catch back up, and they missed quite a few of their three-pointers, and that's why we stayed where we did. However, what I liked about the fourth quarter in particular was that we weren't playing catch-up like we normally are. We were playing with a lead, not a comfortable lead. We were playing with a lead, and we were still playing aggressively, and we were still playing with high energy. And that's what I want to see in all of our fourth quarters. High energy, don't give up, and not playing catch up. That was like the biggest thing for me, that we were not trying to come from behind. So we were able to still have that energy and not allow. I think the defense won the game for us today also. You know, there was a point where we were all over Portland and they didn't know what to do. We really were defending them really well, and I think that also is another reason why we were able to get this win today.
Yeah, it's one of the core things of the. I mean, we know it's Tibbs. We gotta talk about it every time. We know what it is. It's defense, effort. The Elfrid Payton thing, which I want to expand upon, because obviously Elfrid has a good game today. He had a really good game, the game before.
Right.
Now, Elfrid, I think we're 9-2 now when he scores a certain amount of points. It's interesting because Elfrid Payton gets by far the most hate out of any player on the Knicks team.
I'm not hating him.
We've done it. I mean, if you don't want to claim it, I've done it. I've done it.
Hating him. When I hate him. Okay, can I just say?
Hey, I don't hate him. I'm talking about hating.
We don't hate any of the Knicks players.
No, I don't hate. I'm saying there's a difference between hate, I hate somebody, and hating on someone. Right? Okay. Elfrid Payton tonight, if another player had this game, people on Knicks Twitter would love it. People are pissed off. They can't stand Elfrid Payton. And it's an interesting debate because I get both sides. How Elfrid Payton plays, his play style, feels very anti what you would want your team to be, right? Especially on a team where you got Randle and RJ dominating in the paint. You see a lot of times they kick the ball out, Elfrid gets it, and he can't shoot. So the team, you're not spacing for, you're not doing all the nice things to play perfect basketball. That said, when a guy plays well and he's playing hard, you got to give him his props. And Elfrid has been playing hard. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he's playing hard. Now, I think a big thing, obviously, is because Emmanuel Quickley is so good. Emmanuel Quickley tonight, and the last game as well, is very alarming to some people. He's only played 13 minutes tonight, and I think 12 minutes the game before. In comparison, Elfrid played 35 minutes tonight, right?
Right.
So there was a point where it was actually kind of flipped, where, Quickley was playing like 30 and Elfrid was playing 17. I think people felt like the transition was about to happen. Mm-hmm. But Elfrid, every time you think he's done, he comes back. Now, Tibbs likes Elfrid. He plays more defense. I think Quickley's a good defender, but I think Elfrid's a bit more physical. And tonight, you could see he was trying to keep Elfrid on Lillard as much as he could. So there was that moment in the fourth quarter where Quickley had like two really great plays in a row. He hit a three, he had a steal, Bullock hit a layup, and right after, Quickley was taken out. And he'd only come in like 3 minutes before. Everyone went insane when that happened because, Elfrid had played most of the third quarter, Quickley comes in, looks really good at the fourth, and then boom, changes again. So right. I get that this is frustrating, especially because Quickley right now is scoring, 13, 12, 11, if not more points in like 15 minutes. Right. And it feels like, wait a minute, this guy's doing this in 15 minutes. If you played him 25 minutes, he might actually be not just like, oh, he's a good rookie, like one of the top 20 point guards in the league. Right. And I actually do see that possible. I think Quickley's looking to me, the more I see him, the more I'm like, this guy, I think if you just let him loose, he's going to show you way more than you think. But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm going to take a step back from some of my Payton slander because it's working. We're winning. Now, when we had lost, we won I think we went 4-10 over 14 games, right? Right before this last couple of wins. We had a period over 14 games where we were 4-10. It didn't feel that bad because we had won a lot before, then we lost like 4 in a row. It was kind of weird. So it didn't feel as bad as, 4-10. Right. But at that point, it kind of felt like, okay, if we're losing games, then definitely Quickley got to be out there because I think he makes more sense. But Tibbs he's not a big guy on playing rookies. He'll never be a good guy. He'll never be it. He I think for him, it's a psychological thing too. He wants to keep guys hungry. He wants to keep them fighting for minutes. Sometimes I get a little bit bugged about the fact that if Quickley was a top pick, he would be playing. And the only reason he's not starting is because he wasn't a top 10 pick, right? But putting that aside, I think you got to let Tibbs cook. We are 11-13, right? I brought up the record last year. People are angry on Twitter, and I'm like, guys, no one here thought we were going to be good this year.
Right.
So I'm like, I always said, if the Knicks are good, we're just going to be so happy. But I think I'm realizing, and this is true, I remember this even in like the late 90s, and Knicks fans complain about everything no matter what. So I will just say this to kind of end on Elf. Mm-hmm. Do I love these minutes? No, I don't. Do I love him having 19 shots? He's shooting 19 times is him being literally the number one option on the team. Elfrid Payton probably should not be shooting that much, right? But if the team is winning and it's working and Quickly's still getting some minutes, just be patient. I think Quickly starts eventually. I think he's too good. I think he's too good to the point where when he starts developing a little bit more, I'm getting messages here. People are texting me. I know who this is. If we start developing and playing, I lost my train of thought. Damn,
it was cool. You're talking about Quickly. You're talking about Quickly starting and people to start. Right. But we know that Elfrid is a veteran, so we know that Tibbs is going to play him. And Quickly's been playing fine off the bench. So
I think what it is, and like we brought this up before, just that Quickly being potentially as good as he is. It feels like this guy who might be scoring 20 points a game if we were limiting him. But I will say this, even if he could possibly do that now, it's still only 33% of the season. If we're 70% in and Elfrid hasn't taken a jump, and I don't expect Elfrid to take a jump. He is who he is at this point. But if it feels like, okay, Quickly's now coming in every game and he's destroying teams and we're not winning as much and Quickly's not starting, then complain. I know I went on about Elfrid a little bit, but it was the biggest talk on the Knicks Twitter today. Mm-hmm. There is even Bill Pinto posted, Elfrid's having a good game. How do you guys feel about this? And he said something like, I'm posting it to see what happens. Kind of like to see what happens because he knows the stand. If you look at
Twitter, he put out some bait because he knew there'd be lots of conversation for and against Elfrid.
Yeah.
So let's keep it moving. So RJ today has 18 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. Again, aggressive play. I saw some nice moves with him, like weaving and bobbing, and he's feeling confident. He's got this big smile on his face. He is so no more poker face because he's actually smiling and grinning and liking it. Actually, they all did. They all kind of looked that way to me today. Elfrid, Randle, and RJ. I saw them with like big grins on their faces. So this is what we want to see from RJ. I feel like I'm repeating myself because every game we play, I'm saying the exact same thing about RJ, which is he's giving us these good, consistent points. And that's really all we need. It's consistency, right? It's consistency with me saying the same thing after every game. We're getting the same points from RJ, and this is what we wanted to see from him. So I'm happy with his game.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. RJ, now he's showing that craftiness. You saw that Euro step around Cantor. We always said if he doesn't have elite athleticism, and RJ's just not that guy. He's not like a top tier athlete like Obi might be. So he's found ways now to score. His jump shot is looking really good now. He's shooting, 35% from 3 over like the last 20 games, which is incredible. And he just looks confident. I think with RJ, he's never going to be the most knockdown shooter like a Steve Novak or even Duncan Robinson from the Heat. He's never going to be that kind of guy. But I think he's a guy, and you're seeing with Randle as well. When they're confident and feeling good, these jumpers are falling. They're not thinking about it. It's just happening. And I think Julius and Randle, both of them this season, incredible. You keep bringing it up every episode, you're right, but that is exactly what he's doing. And it's going to get to a point soon where it's not even a thing to bring up anymore because it's who he is. You don't watch Donovan Mitchell and say, oh man, Donovan Mitchell's doing it every night. Like,
we're going to be just expecting it from him.
Yeah, we're just expecting it. All right, let's just touch on one more player, actually, just Julius Randle. He smiled today. I saw a nice smile on his face.
So did I. I saw this.
And I was happy.
Big grin on his face. Like, yeah.
I'm so
afternoon game. I'm telling you, they like the sunlight. They want to be back in the garden. Can we go to the garden tomorrow, by the way? And by the way, listening to the game, and it literally sounded in the beginning of the game like they had fans there. I was like, wait a minute.
No, the audio loop that
their audio is on point because at the beginning of the game, I thought there were fans there and I wanted to know, did we miss out?
Oh, right. Yeah, we better be in the garden once it starts. Funny enough, talking about the garden, I tweeted this out today. I wonder if Julius Randle realizes how insane the MVP chance he'll be getting at the garden would be right now. Because one thing about Knicks fans, right? We're not perfect by any means, and sometimes we're hating a little bit too hard. But when a player is playing hard consistently and giving their all, it doesn't matter what they did before. And Julius Randle had to endure a lot of groans last year, a lot of at the Garden. Listen, they heard it. It wasn't just Twitter and YouTube. at the Garden, we were at the games. You could hear people just like, "Oh my God, he's spinning again! What is he doing?"
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, and maybe it was good that we got through this period without fans, right? Maybe it helped them become a team. Now, when fans come back, they're already connected, and it's not going to be any change. But I will say, Randle doing very well. Vote for him. Hashtag Julius Randle. Hashtag NBA All-Star. Here's one of the main things about this. They already released the voting, the first returns, and Randle's like 8th or something in the front court players. So listen, he's not gonna get in by the vote. I'm gonna be real with you, he's not. It's gonna be KD, those guys. But I think two things: the coaches vote for the reserves, and the coaches, while I think they're gonna give Randle his props anyway, the coaches definitely look and see who the fans really wanted and didn't make it. So when the coaches see like Randle finish like 4th in front court voting, that's an added thing to them when they vote for him. Also, I just think the symbolism of Randle seeing us ride for him like this, whereas last year we weren't really doing it, just because he can see the benefit. I want him to feel that love and know that it's there, and I know he's looking at those numbers. Everybody's talking about Randle as an All-Star. Hopefully, he gets it as a reserve, but hopefully that game does not happen. I hate the idea of the All-Star game, but that's a topic for another video. I feel like this year, LeBron has already spoken out about it. I agree. I think it's a really important this year to do the All-Star game. It's unnecessary. Imagine your team missing your player now gets COVID at the All-Star game. So now he's missing 2 weeks of, and guess what? After the All-Star game, it's real games, right? It's getting to the playoffs. So I agree with LeBron that I just don't know about it. But
I think most of the players don't want to play in the All-Star game. They don't see the point of it. I mean, we already are not able to play full regular games, so why are we trying to put an extra game on there? Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
Fans don't want it.
And everyone will understand. I mean, the entire world is going through this experience, so everyone will understand. Look, we weren't able to have draft night. I mean, we missed so many things. So summer league, draft night, so many things we're missing. So we can sit this one out.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is they started the season saying there's no All-Star game. Like it was already the rule. And now, like last week, they were like, "Oh, what if we had one?" Or earlier this week. So now I'm like, it just feels pointless. It doesn't make sense. And like, given the mental strain on these guys, everything with COVID, let them just chill at home and be with family. You have to do all this extra stuff. You got some comments?
I have a comment, and I want to discuss it with you actually, and get your feedback on this. So this is a comment from B from Jersey, and he says that Tibbs' team preparation is excellent. However, his in-game adjustments and substitutions are big downfalls.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. I mean, I'm seeing lots of other comments as well that are just talking about, why is he calling this time out at this time, or why is he not substituting this player? The rotation being tight. People want to see some different things happening. Now, I know that Tibbs is the head coach, but we also know there's other assistant coaches, including Mike Woodson, who's there with him. Do they have any say in what's going on and who comes out to play, and what's their part in this?
Tibbs strikes me as Mario the Highway, but it also strikes me that everyone knows that, so it's never a contention on the bench. Like they know what Tibbs is planning to do. So it's like Johnny Bryant is saying something, and I think, let's be real, I'm pretty sure Tibbs is listening to these guys. Now, Tibbs' rotation, spot on. I know it feels like, in a weird way, it feels like the wealthy complaining because we've been so bad and now we're 11 and 13 and we're still complaining about the coach.
Right.
So that's why I kind of said what I said earlier too about Elfrid and about taking a step back and looking at where we are as a franchise. Things are looking really good for the Knicks. But it is true. Obi Toppin plays 9 minutes tonight, right? Quickly plays 13. Rivers, thank God, Tibbs finally seemed to realize today that Rivers has been garbage for a while. Like Rivers has been really bad apart from the couple of games where he's been insane.
Right.
Tibbs finally didn't play him down the stretch. Rivers only played 8 minutes tonight. Usually Austin Rivers is getting double that, closer to 20 minutes. So I was happy that Tibbs kind of noticed that tonight, that, Rivers, again, just not playing well. Cut him out. He didn't let him come back out in the fourth quarter and everything. Right. So Tibbs' rotations, they're iffy. And I think it hasn't cost us too much this season, but there are definitely games where I felt like Tibbs is trusting some of these older guys a little bit too much. And, IQ's playing well, even today, right? So IQ had that nice little moment I spoke about where he hit the three and then got a steal, and Reggie Bullock hit the layup. And then right after that, he took him out. And I think it was like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And a lot of us were just like, what are you doing? Like, IQ's playing well. Let him even get 3 more minutes and then bring in Payton with 5 minutes left.
Right.
the sub. He felt like he wanted to match Payton with Lillard. That's what he was doing. So every time Lillard was on the court, it didn't matter if IQ was out or not. He was going to put him back in.
Yeah.
It's iffy. Even late in the game, at some point, he put in Elfrid on offense and put in IQ on defense, which seems opposite of what he's been trying to do. So I don't know. There are some confusing things with Tibbs' rotation. And I think we all see it at times. But in a weird way, too, you kind of got to let him cook. I still think Tibbs sees a lot of the stuff that we see. But his reason for doing things, he knows more than we do. He's seeing them in practice too, and he has a thought about it. I'll give this one last thing about IQ and minutes tonight. We play the Heat tomorrow, right? At midday.
Yep.
I don't really think Tibbs was like, I'm going to save IQ for tomorrow, because Tibbs never saves players. He's playing you every game like it's the last basketball.
As many minutes as you can play.
Look, I said this and I tweeted this out as well. Follow us on Twitter. It's above us. You see right there. Look at the Twitter. Yeah, there you go. Follow us. But I said it on Twitter. Listen, if IQ plays well tomorrow, plays 30 minutes because it's against the Heat and he hits a lot of threes and plays well and we win the game. Look at the end of the weekend. That was excellent game management. It's 72 games, right? You got to. And it's funny because it's opposite to how Tibbs is. Like, he's playing guys crazy minutes, but there's just more going on than we know. And this year we know so much less because we don't have as much access as normal. So that a really good comment, and I agree, and I think a lot of us agree. But I also kind of feel like let him cook a little bit longer. So it's still only 24 games,
Yeah, I have two other comments, and they're short, and they're kind of to the same point. So one of them was Agent Superhero. He said, "This is becoming a love and hate thing with me and Payton. But if I had to choose, I still hate him." So I wonder, Agent Super Argo, and I know you've been following us for a minute, how do you feel about today's game? I guess today is a love game, right? Because it's a love and hate relationship he's having. And then the last comment, which I think is what we could all agree with, from MJ. He said Payton just needs to be consistent. And that's really, I think, the theme with the entire team. We want everyone to be consistent. Obviously, with giving us points and rebounds and scoring and winning, but we just need that consistency. So that's MJ and Agent Super Argo.
Yeah, he's been rocking us for a while. Shout out for all the support. Now let's get into what they talking about. Great comments, guys. Keep them coming.
On Twitter, right? What are they talking about on Twitter? Let me hear.
Yeah, well, this is Reddit. Not as crazy today. Not as crazy, but some interesting stuff. First one, and they're getting this now every game. I love these comments because they're unrelated. The people on the Warriors Reddit aren't reading what the people of the Blazers Reddit are saying about the Knicks. Like, that's so far. The only shared connection is the Knicks. But it's funny when you see them saying the same thing. So if you remember in the Warriors episode, or not even the Warriors episode, one of the games, someone said, "Oh, we're letting Randle shoot like Steph." But here's what we got tonight from the Blazers fans: "Are we dead ass?" By the way, we got copyright over dead ass. All right, you Portland people, don't do that. But he says, "Are we dead ass gonna let Julius Randle match every Dame three?" So there was a point where Damian's coming down, and Damian Lillard, man, some of these threes, ridiculous, and he's injured. Crazy.
He's injured. I was gonna say he is injured, and you could see it. You could see it a little bit. Yeah,
he's insane still. But Randle was hitting a three, and then Lillard was coming back down hitting a three. Then Randle was hitting one again. Julius's shot making this season incredible, and teams can't believe it. They look at it, they're like, "Oh, he's gonna start missing." These comments are summing it up. And the second one, which kind of ties into the whole Quickly Payton thing, and I think this is really funny. He said, "Woo, Quickly is out." Out. So actually, I saw this on Twitter too. I didn't crop some of the Twitter comments from Blazers fans, but Blazers fans on Twitter, when Quickly went out in the fourth, they were so happy. They're like, "Oh, thank God." So it's fun to see because Knicks fans were upset. Blazers like, "Thank God, it's not going to be on the court anymore." Right. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. But the Knicks win. Knicks playing good basketball. Listen, I know it's not perfect. We got some issues. It's not the best thing ever, but you have to think about where we are as a franchise and where we've been. There's nothing wrong with what's going on so far. Even though, obviously, Frank and Knox not playing, Obi playing less than 10 minutes a game, none of that feels good, especially for the long-term future. You really have to believe with the developmental staff in there that they're making sure, maybe not Frank, because I don't know if he's really in there, but like at least Knox and Obi are getting what they need in practice, in training.
One quick point more, which was that Melo was back in the Garden today, and he did say that he cares about the future of the Knicks. So once a Knick, always a Knick.
Oh, Melo's that guy. You can see he's got to be with us, like in some capacity after he retires, right? You got to.
I hope so.
Yeah, RJ. Melo,
7 seasons here with us, right?
Yeah, the thing is with Melo, it's funny, right? When you watch him interact with the Knicks players and everything, it actually feels like he was on the team with these guys.
Like he's still there?
No one here at all. Like none of these guys. But
Yeah.
Melo P is like such a Knick, and he is a Knick, so it's awesome. And
Yeah.
he didn't play that well today. He's not playing that great this season, but I'm glad he's back in the league and he's rising up the scoring charts. So shout out to Melo and shout out to you guys for all the support. We are out back tomorrow with the Miami Heat game.
Peace.